My name is Orville Maciel, aka Swankie the Villain. I'd say I'm an artist, creative, and actor. I've acted in the past when I was younger, teenage years, getting back to it now, voice acting. So yeah, that's about it. And I'm a weirdo and I don't know. That's it. That's just, yeah, basically who I am. I think actually it started when I was much younger, like before high school, just watching, to be honest, Eddie Murphy. I think it was like Coming to America, and I watched that movie. I was obsessed knowing that he did different accents, he did different characters, and that's something that I was always drawn to. Him, Jim Carrey, just eccentric, Robin Williams as well, just inspired by them. And I immediately told my parents, like, I want to get into acting. And of course, coming from an immigrant household, they're just like, wait a minute, like, we can't really afford this. How do we go about doing this? So this is like the beginnings of internet, just researching, going through the newspaper. I remember finding an ad about like acting classes, and I begged them, did the acting classes just down the street over here. And they were like, hey, this guy has some promise. We want to help him get an agent. And I had to do headshots. Shout out to my brother, because my parents didn't want to pay for the headshots. And he's like, yo, my first paycheck, he paid for my headshots. And then I got some roles. I started doing like a short film for an animated series. I did a lot of things with CBC Radio. And then I started doing some on-screen stuff, thanks to a famous director, Deepa Mehta. She helped me get into first radio play that I did. It was with CBC Radio and Soul Pepper Theater. We did 4 nights, days and nights, matinee shows, and it was a live studio recording play, live to air on the radio for a story called Funny Boy. And then from that, she cast me in a movie, Heaven on Earth, with a Bollywood actress, Preeti Zinta. I better say that name right. And that was over here. We filmed here in Brampton, in Toronto. And then from that, then I went to university, and it was just whatever. But in high school, getting into Cawthron was like very, I don't know. I guess like I grew up in like Bloor Fieldgate, you know, bunch of immigrant kids, everyone our home school. Like I went there from kindergarten to grade 8, everyone was going to the same high school. And then here I am like, oh, I'm gonna audition to a high school that's like an hour and a half away. And I gotta take a bus to school every day. And they're like, what? You could just go to a high school that's 10 minutes away. I'm like, I don't know, I really wanna get into this, you know, acting thing and see my potential. So it was nerve-wracking. Getting there in grade 9, didn't know anyone. I maybe just know 2 people, but we didn't have the same lunch. So I ate lunch alone for like at least a month until I made friends. But then I found creative minds, or people that had like-minded taste in music, in art. And I'm just like, whoa, there's more of me, which was pretty cool. Oh yeah, okay, I would say growing up, I would talk with my mom. She would help me do lines back and forth. So she was essentially one of my early acting teachers as well. I felt that when I was younger, I was thinking too much. So I was just like memorizing the lines and just saying it. Where in high school, especially at Cawthron, going to all the drama classes, I learned to like feel more. I will say I love auditions now because everything is remote. If it's like on screen, I can do a self-tape, send it in. If it's voice acting, I can do as many takes until I feel like, okay, these 2 or these 3 takes are the best. Now I can send it. When I was younger, as early as like 9, I'd go into auditions. If they were casting for like, hey, skinny brown dude, I'd be in a room with like 10 skinny brown dudes. We all look the same. And then it would be pretty harsh. Like I'd go in, and I was just talking about this the other day, but I'd like go and do my lines, and they'd just be like, all right, thanks. Or I've gotten like, it's not really what we're looking for, but okay. I'm just like, damn, like that hurt. Now I don't get that rejection. It's just like, hey, put your recording in this Dropbox. If you hear within a week, you've moved to the next round, or you booked the role. And if you haven't, then you didn't get it. And I'm like, nice, that's lighten the blow for rejection. Freestyling and improv go hand in hand. Like even with improv, you're just given a scenario. If I find like my greatest strengths comedically is just having natural conversations with people. And that's when I can bring up a funny story or do a little callback, throw in an accent here and there. It just comes so naturally. Loved improv in high school as well. That was like my favorite part of drama class, because you can just be free. You can just make up things. Things are spur of the moment. That's the same thing with freestyling. I think it just came from my work ethic. So I got into hip hop at an early age because of my older brother. But it was like, hey, we're not listening to Britney Spears and all this, like Justin Timberlake, whatever. Listen to DMX, listen to Method Man, listen to Wu-Tang, listen to Nas, Jay-Z. And I got into researching more about these artists and seeing like people like Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, and Biggie like don't even write their rhymes. They just listen to a beat, they feel it, and they're like, all right, let's go. I don't have that skill all the time, but then I started working on that. So I kind of trained myself every day or every other day to just put on an instrumental or just go on YouTube and find like this instrumental loop and just go and just create things. And out of those freestyles, I'll come up with some like pretty nuanced, creative lines. And I'm like, ooh, let's stop for a second. Let me write that in my notes in my phone. So I have like this notes section in my phone, which is just called lyrics. And it's just like throughout every day, if I come up with 1 or 2 lines, I'll just write it down in there. Or if I find like a creative word, I'm like, oh, I'll just start writing words that rhyme with that word. So I know how to later on intertwine it. But yeah, freestyling just comes a bit naturally now. And I also feel like the crowd interaction, if I'm doing live performances, before a show, I'm a nervous wreck. Like my stomach's in knots, I'm sweating. I'm just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do, but I love that nerve. Like those nerves, they encourage me. They're like, okay, like don't take this for granted. Like go out there and like give it your all. Because if I didn't feel nervous, I'd be like, this is whatever. And then I feel too comfortable. I wanna feel uncomfortable because it makes me wanna prove myself more. So when I'm going out there and freestyling and then I see the crowd reactions and then I'm like, okay, let me rap about this person and what are you wearing? And then look at this, you also look like this guy. And I guess it just comes naturally. I kind of like black out. I had this conversation with some of my friends when we talk about freestyling. I'm like, there's sometimes when you see someone who's like really going off the top, I find it's called like catching the Holy Spirit. Like it's like, they just blank. They're like, you can just see them in this zone and they're just going and going and going. They're not even thinking, words are just coming. So yeah, and I like to research new words or creative. If I like watch interviews or watch documentaries and someone drops a word and I'm just like, ooh, what is that word? What does it mean? And what can I rhyme with that word? And let me store it in my brain and then just go from there. I also think my memory is what helps me a lot. So a great thing in my family is we call ourselves a family of elephants because all of us have great memories, whether it's for bringing up things in the past that we can use in an argument or just like, hey, remember when we did this? And there are times like we can remember every single thing. Like I have memories like from 3 years old that I can explain what I saw, what we did, what I was wearing. And I think that helps a lot with freestyling or improv. With freestyling, I always have a bank full of words that I can just pull at any time. And then I also, with improv, I have the memory of what the scene started with and where I can take it. And if I need to do a callback to how we started. So yeah, those are like my superpowers, I'd say.
Check, yeah. Swankie. Woo. I don't know the beat was gonna do that. Okay. Turn me up. They try to bury me, but they didn't know that I was a seed. Here to nourish all the minds of the people I feed. The youth are pushing for a movement, but y'all fail to take heed. Unshackling imagination until it is freed. Now hold up, I don't care what he say or you say. No, I get a pussy wetter than Bobby Boucher. Okay, let me go ahead and hit it proper. The pussy popper, I love it when you call me Big Papa. Yeah, like Notorious B.I.G. Been doing this shit since I was a K.I.D. Now you K.O.D. or dead on arrival. I've been doing this shit, but not for survival. I do it for the love, I don't do it for the accolades or rewards. I was rapping in the back of a Honda Accord, or maybe a Toyota Camry. Shout out to the bitches who never fucking had me. But you about to get this dick in your mouth. No, hold up, let me go ahead and bring it down south and show you what I'm about and show you how I'ma do it. Cause you know I'ma go ahead and be so fluid. Yeah, I'll be meditating like I am a Buddhist. You know I am a fucking lyrical tattooist, moving through different lines. lines. Look into my mind, see these motherfucking words I combine and how they rhyme. I do it every single time, every day, every week, every month. I don't front. I pull up in the motherfucking brunt with a blunt. Yeah, you know I'm about to do your little stunt. Yeah, you know you can never compete. I be smoking blunts bigger than lots of your niggas' feet. Yeah, remember her from the Proud Family. Now we out here smoking on that loud family. If I'm out here chilling in the crowd family, they looking at me saying, goddamn wow family. How we about to do it? Cause you know my name is Swankie. Bless you with this lyricism, so you better thank me, bitch. Wow, that's perfect timing. Wow. Sick. That was a fucking vibe. I love that. Oh, we gotta hear that shit. Oh, yeah. Let me just increase this. Oh, let's save this too.
Yeah, I find like now too, like there's not like battle rap scenarios. Or there, I mean, you know, King of the Dot was still like, you know, if you grew up here, that was what you would watch on YouTube. And also like the underground tapes, people like Dumbfounded, like back Arsenal, like all these guys. So I grew up watching them a lot. And I'd see how they use like these triple, double, quadruple entendres. And I'm like, ooh, like there's rhymes within rhymes. So I'm like, whoa, that's something I need to practice. So I guess practicing, like literally even in high school, like I'm taking an hour and a half going to Kothra. What am I doing on the bus? I have my iPod full of instrumentals I got off LimeWire, and I'm just, in my head, I'm just doing this. And I'm rapping, I'm just, that's it. So yeah, that's how I get my reps in, and then bang. But like now, especially in Toronto, there's such a creative, I'd say music scene now. More of like the local artists are getting a chance to shine or to collaborate more, whether it's open mics, open jams. So I like to go to those. Whether I'm performing or not, I just like to be in those types of rooms or that atmosphere, so I can see like, okay, this is how we're doing, this is how we're creating. Okay, now I'll have the courage to go up next time on stage and join these jams or just network with people. And now they're just like, hey, I'm throwing this open jam, and it's the same thing. We got a band just playing instrumentals and just a bunch of artists, whether they're singing, rapping, they want to do a spoken word. There's like times where just a tap dancer comes up and I'm like, this is sick. Like this is the type of atmosphere, the culture I want to be around all the time. So I love accents, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I'm obsessed with accents. It's been like that since I was a kid. And also it comes from like me being obsessed with parrots. Like I grew up with a friend in elementary school, and he had an African gray parrot. And like, once I learned, they can learn, I don't know if it's like 200 or 300 like phrases, words. I'm just like, whoa, like I want to embody this animal. Like, so if I meet someone with an accent, there's probably a 98% chance I am listening to you, but I'm also like, how am I gonna mimic everything? Like your accent, your mannerisms, when you say certain words. And that's been like that since I was a kid. So I'm like, I just need to like just acknowledge, and I'm just like, yeah, And some people notice that. The downside is sometimes if I meet someone with an accent, I'm so like invested in their accent that I start talking in their accent, and then I have to like hold it back, like, hold on, I'm becoming this person. I need to need to step back. Dude, that's like me in China, because I remember we were talking to students, and they're just like, I can understand you, the student's telling me, but she's like, you guys talk too fast. So maybe when you're speaking to other locals and they're speaking English, speak slower. It became such a habit that when I came back for the summers, my friends would be like, why are you talking in slow-mo? Like, your sentences take so long. Like, let's go, buddy. And I'm like, oh man, like my brain is programmed to speaking English in China. Not to say that I was talking like that all the time. If it's just us native speakers, I'm like, boop-ba, boop-ba, bang, hit the slang. But like when I would meet people who are Chinese there, I'm just like, okay, hello, like, you know, slow it down, because I know it's gonna help them. I'm not doing it to like, you know, feel like I'm better than them or anything. It's just like, no, I know it's gonna help you. And when you speak Chinese to me, the very broken bits that I know, when you speak slow, I'm like, okay, it gives me time to like register and try to translate. So I went there to teach. My first year was teaching kindergarten, then did some courses, worked my way up to high school. Then I spent the last 3 years out of the 4 working in the high school. I taught social studies, drama and film, which was amazing. And I was a guidance counselor for a little bit. But just speaking with the students, like I'm seeing them coming in with "Ye must be born again" shirts or Yeezus, you know, and Jesus is King shirts at that time. And I'm just like, do you know who that is? And they're like, yeah, Kanye. Like they just know the culture. Like I know it goes around in social media like, oh, in Asia, they are appropriating the culture. But I kind of feel like they were appreciating it. Like they love it so much that they are so invested in it. And a lot of things I've found out with the Chinese youth, because I'm spending most of my time with them, is like if they are obsessed with something, they will dedicate so much of their day or their week or their life to perfecting like that. So if someone got into breakdancing, that is all they're doing. That's all they're watching. That's all they're doing. They're meeting other friends. They're going to competitions. Like the culture in China, if you're obsessed with breakdancing, you're gonna find a whole community and they have events every single weekend. You like hip hop, just performances? Oh, okay, here are all the shows that are happening. Oh, okay, A$AP Rocky might come in for a show. Like I saw Thundercat over there in China. Like the appreciation, especially Black culture, or I'd say Western culture, is very huge over there. So just navigating through that and then meeting again like-minded people. I meet other foreigners living there from America, from Europe, from Australia, and they're like, hey, I'm rappers, or I've been rapping back home and we're trying to put some shows together. Like, hey, would you want to show up? Yeah. Okay, so then we start networking like that. We even worked our way up to like performing at bigger clubs, like One Oak in Shanghai, which was like insane. Like I'm just a guy from Mississauga. Now I'm performing on like a big stage in One Oak in Shanghai, which is like population 30 million. Insane. I remember I did a show in like a UFC cage and it was me battling other rappers. And then I also battled a rapper who rapped only in Chinese. So then I'm just like, but I didn't care. So I just roasted him. I don't know what he said to me. He doesn't know what I said to him, but it worked. It was amazing. I won, which was dope. I think I won like 5,000 RMB. It was like $1,000. So I'm just like, this is amazing. I can do this. Started networking with more of the hip hop culture and all the other like artists over there. And they're like, hey, I work at this club. It's a smaller club. We're looking for MCs for the weekend. Like, can you work on a Friday, Saturday? So it came to like, yeah, I'm teaching Monday to Friday, take that bus trip to Shanghai, and then I'd work on a Friday or a Saturday, sometimes both. And just, making another, side hustle, using that money more, because I'm just like, yo, let me save the money I'm making teaching, and I just use my weekend money and flex it around there. But yeah, just meeting so many artists, I'd say even painters, sculptors. There's such a big creative space in Shanghai, and they do appreciate the arts. They're very appreciative of the arts and they want to celebrate it. And I even found it with some of the kids that we were teaching, even their parents were just like, yeah, go do that. And you hear it over here, like, okay, maybe an immigrant family or coming from the other side of the world, they may not encourage it. It doesn't happen all the time, but you do have parents that encourage it. So yeah, that was really cool to be around as well. I speak very highly of China, because everyone, I think it's just the Western media here that paints it in such a like, they control everything and they don't even have Instagram. It's like,
it's all good.
It's all great. It's like, I would say my first 2 years were better, obviously, because the latter 2, it was COVID and lockdown. And of course, getting tested every day. But the first 2 years, just meeting so many foreigners. We were in a softball league with like 500 people, and everyone's either from Canada, America, or like Australia, or bits and parts from like England or Ireland. But like, I'm like, look at all these, like, what? Like, we have house parties, and if I showed you a picture of that party, you'd be like, that looks like it's in Canada, because it's so multicultural, but that's us in China. Like, And that's only because we're like in a bigger city. I lived in Suzhou, and then Shanghai is nearby. So these are very big, vibrant, Western influenced cities, I would say. In terms of, and fashion in Shanghai is just, that's where I would see the creativity and it made me be like, oh, let me wear something like this. Or let me explore a little bit more with what I want to wear. I don't need to just wear, a jersey and jeans. Like, let's broaden your horizons. Let me get some Chinese fits. But there's like, walking around, especially in Shanghai, you're seeing like, oh my gosh, like everyone or most of the people have their own unique creative style. And I'm like, this is awesome. I think my first EP that I put out ever was in like 2016. And then I kind of just like did nothing till 2021, the next like release. And that was just me, I think, just gaining confidence and writing more. It was my first time really figuring out how a song is formed, and do I have a proper chorus or a hook? And then I started developing at least like my voice, not just rapping, but I'm just like, let me also try to sing a little bit, I have that youth choir background, back in the church. So I'm just like, yeah, I gotta explore it. Maybe I might not be good, but I can work at it and I can train myself. I still won't say I'm amazing, but I'm like, I know what's off key and what's not and how to carry a tune. So that helps. And I'd say even just writing continuously, like I said, my lyrics note in my phone, it's just a bunch of lines. And then I'll scroll through, and if I'm listening to a certain beat, that beat kind of elicits a story I want to tell or something that I'm feeling. I also challenged myself 2025, so this year, that every single month I got to put out one freestyle video on Instagram. I call it Villainous Flows. So I'm like, just different vibes. And I'm like, I want to use R&B instrumentals. I want to use old school hip hop. I want to use songs that I grew up on and the beats that I enjoyed. And I would be like, how would I reimagine this song? What can I write about or explore in this song? It gave me a chance to be creative. It gave me a chance to explore, different subject matter. And then I'm like, I gotta also like film a video. So how can I make this entertaining that people, I'd say the attention span now, it's like, okay, within the first 3 to 5 seconds, I know whether I'm gonna continue or not. So I'm like, how do I get your attention right away? How do you stick around? And then also I pay a lot of attention to the writing, to the rhyming scheme. Like, I don't wanna do any like, Dr. Seuss Cat in a Hat type rhymes. I want you to actually think and be like, whoa, there's layers to what this guy is saying. So that's basically, or more importantly, what I want to push out is just like, just know that I'm a wordsmith. Like, lyrics are very important to me, but also now feeling. So what am I talking about? Does it connect with other people? Let me get some, R&B. Let me get some singing in there. Let me just do something that's, out of my scope. So I'm not just rapping the whole time, but maybe I'm just like singing a bit. I'd say collaborations were big this year. With Johnny Vu, 2 tracks. Got some others coming up, will be released next year. But again, like moving into different genres, beats or songs I never thought that, oh yeah, I could do something on that. Oh yeah, okay, thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, let me do that. So I think getting out of my comfort zone, being more explorative, and I think also just like not caring anymore. So it'd be like more like, let me just do it. It's not in your genre. It's not in, like, I don't want to be in a box. Let's just explore it. Let me see how this goes. Maybe this is my avenue. Or maybe people be like, oh, this guy's not a one-trick pony. He's not that boom bap or like structured hip hop artist. Like, this guy can do more. And that also goes with live performances. I was lucky enough to be included in a hip hop collective called Bangers Brass here in Toronto. So it's about 7 or 8 brass players and a drummer, 2 MCs. Our show is strictly freestyles. Like, we'll do original songs, and then it's like, hey, we're gonna do Missy Elliott's Work It, this whole band, and now go. And so that also motivated me to be like, okay, I can be way more creative now, and more people are hearing me. And like the vibe of, you got like 8 horn players and a drum set just giving you this backing, that energy is just, it's amazing. So that's really helped me, I think, become a better artist and more creative artist right now. I'd say even China, because KTV, massive there, and we do KTV a lot. And even like seeing the other, like the natives of China, like our friends that would come with us, they would be singing in like extremely off key, but they don't care. They're just like, who cares? Just sing. And you know, that helped me be like, okay, I don't need to have a fear. So I'd be more adventurous in singing. They're like, yo, you can sing a little bit. Like, why are you shy? Like, get that out more. I'm just like, okay, yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, I treat music and movies the same. I love movies, I love music, and I don't want to be boxed into a certain genre. I only listened, and that used to be me. Like when I was growing up in elementary school and then high school, it was like, I only listen to 90s hip hop and the classics and, you know, real MCs. And then, you know, grade 9, and then someone was like, hey, listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers. Have you heard of this guy? Have you heard of this? And I'm like, yo, I have. Of course, like my parents play music all the time. You go to my house right now, my dad has the radio on from the time he gets up to the time he goes to sleep. And so I grew up with a lot of, you know, 60s, 70s, classic rock from my dad, jazz and Motown from my mom. So I know that. Then I started being like, whoa, some of these hip hop songs are sampling like these songs that I kind of grew up on. So let me expand, you know, my interest in music. And it did. Same thing with movies. Like I don't want to just watch comedies. I'm more now into dramas. I'm just like, that really gets me going. So I think, yeah, being myself, being put in a box, it's like I have all this inspiration from different genres. Me, myself, if I'm listening to music, I'm listening to all different types. If I put my liked songs on shuffle, we're going from rock to, you know, some like Ghanaian song. Like it's all over the place. Because for me, if it sounds good to me, that's all that matters. I like it. If I'm watching a movie, it's good to me. Oh, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 4 out of 10. I don't care. It's a 9.5 out of 10 for me. So that's the same thing. So I'm like, let me make music or let me explore different things. I haven't really, you know, got into rock or anything if I'm like performing that. But I did. I was in like a band back in the day. I used to play drums. So we would play different types of songs. So I'd say for me, getting out of, again, the comfort zone of like, this is all I know. This is all people know me for. And I think when I was younger, it was, especially my first EP, or when I used to first, like, sometimes I put on Instagram like random freestyle videos and I'd be like, oh, like it got like 70 likes, or like, you know, once you grow up and evolve and mature, you realize like, I don't care about the likes. I don't care about the plays on Spotify. Like, oh, I didn't reach 10K. Like, I don't care. It's something that I was so passionate about, something I really enjoyed doing, all the way to like a video, to writing it, to the album cover. And I put it out. And if it resonates with someone, amazing. And if it doesn't, okay, keep moving. There's so much music and stuff in the world right now. You can, you know, the world's your oyster. Yeah, in terms of stand-up, man, that's like, I'm obsessed with stand-up. Like, I remember in high school, I watched, again, huge fan of Eddie Murphy, so Raw. And I was like, wow, like that's something I want to do. But then that, you know, it's a lot. It's being a comedian, especially a stand-up comedian, you're on stage by yourself and you're saying something or doing something that you think people will find funny. And maybe it's something that you think is funny, they don't, and you're just like, ah. And I just need to get the courage to go and do it. I've always thought, I'm like, maybe I should just try it. Like, I have some friends that run open mic comedy nights, and I'm just like, I could. People have told me, get up there and do something. I'm just like, I don't know what to say. In my notes, though, I do have a section that's called stand-up, where I just put different scenarios. Or sometimes if I have a natural conversation with someone, I'll just bring up stories like, stories from China, from a trip in Bali or something, and like it's got the room laughing. I'll be like, I gotta go to the washroom real quick, and I'll just like write that down and be like, oh, that was pretty good reaction. Perhaps in my, like, if I do stand up, maybe that's something I could bring up, but I think it's just nerves right now. But it's also with like hip hop. When I first started performing, I'd be so nervous. And then people would see it. I remember I did an open mic for a poetry slam, like back in 2015 or something, and my legs are just shaking. And I remember as I'm saying my poem, the people in the front are like, oh my God, look at his legs. I'm just like, oh God. So I was just thinking, and I wasn't feeling and I wasn't believing in what I was doing. And as I, got older, I still get nervous, but I know like, hey, I'm gonna kill this because I have that motivation. I have the skill. I'm gonna kill it. So I just need to develop that with stand-up if I choose to do that. Let's see. I think, yeah, like even with being an artist or even like a comedian, I think if you're tapped in or you acknowledge like the greats, or you've not like studied the greats, but you know how to captivate an audience and your stage presence and stuff like that. Like I grew up watching even like Richard Pryor and like Dave Chappelle, and you see how comfortable they are on the mic. I think now we're finding a lot of like TikTok or Instagram creators who can kill it within like a certain time frame because you've now edited this video. I mean, I do the same thing. I'll like record something, I'll be like, I didn't really kill it that time. Let me re-record it. I have second, third, fourth chances. And you see sometimes like these content creators try to do stand-up and it's like, ooh, hey, this ain't TikTok. This is, this is real life. So that's kind of my fear too. Like people are like, whoa, like I saw your video on Instagram. That was hilarious. That was amazing. And I was like, great, but like I probably did like 5-10 takes. Sometimes I don't. Maybe I was just a little drunk and I'm just like, all right, let's just do this. But I'm like, do you have that chance on a stage? Because the stage is not forgiving. Like if you suck, you suck. Like what are you gonna do? Like I see like shows like Kill Tony where like they got that minute to shine and I'm just like, damn, like, having that opportunity, if like I had to do something like that, like the nerves I think would just get me, and that's something I gotta really like overcome and be like, all right, let's just do it. I don't know. I think for me, I'm always thinking, at the end of the year, you always get that, we're here in December. What am I going to do? What are my goals for next year? And I think it's to just be like more creative, I feel. Like this year, a freestyle video every month, accomplish it, one to drop coming up soon. But I'm like, okay, what's my next challenge? And I just want to create more. I think I found this like motivation out of nowhere in September about posting videos on social media. I just gained more followers, more views, and I think people didn't know I could be this creative, or I could do accents, or he could do this and he could do that. And I'm just like, yeah, I've been kind of keeping it low key. I'm like, man, I'm getting older. Like, if I had the chance to do voice acting or be an artist or, collaborate or do something like that full time, that's something I'd want to do. So I think I want to chase that more, especially for next year.